And I warmly welcome you all to this 69th Rajagiri Roundtable Conference. Today, the topic is about uh, creating an appetite for healthy food. So, food is a basic necessity for all of us. And many of us are very fortunate to eat 3 meals a day or even more. But many people in the world are not at all fortunate to get quality. Not even quality, but any kind of food. So we are fortunate in that. And I remember in the Indian situation, I remember when I was in school, the noodles was first introduced in the Indian market. So one branded company which introduced it, they gave it free of cost, one packet to all the students, basically in schools. So and fast food restaurants also became kind of what do you call in thing in the mid 80s. I remember. So that eating culture itself changed. If you can look at the last 40 years, so much change has happened in the way we eat food, the way we prepare food, the ingredients that go into food. So that has made an impact in our health also. If you look at the increase in alarming rise in non-communicable diseases like heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, hypertension, you just name it, lot of morbidities now which were unheard of before, maybe 50 years ago. So this is a problem that we are going to face as we go into this kind of modern kind of processed food. So until the 1960s, we faced a food shortage. So we were waiting for shipments coming from US for the rice and wheat to meet our requirements. But now, in the mid 60s, the Green Revolution changed all that, and now we have surplus of food. Over the years, we have developed high yielding varieties, and we have developed mechanized kind of cultivation so that we now are surplus in food. But we are still low in the global hunger index, 94th in the global hunger index, and we still are yet to achieve the nutritional standards that is required of us. So the midday meal scheme that was introduced in schools was a major attraction to send for parents to send their children to school. And now the concern is, even as so much food is distributed, the nutritive value of those food, whether we are meeting those standards, that's a major issue. So on this occasion, I would like to honor Saint Kuriakos Elias Chavra, the founder of the Carmelites of Mary Immaculate, under which the Rajagiri media comes. So he was instrumental in developing a education revolution in the country by setting up schools in Kerala, from Kerala. And now the CMI institutions are known for their quality education from kindergarten to university levels. So he also is the architect of Pallikudam, the brand that we are promoting. And he believed that just as every Buddhist monastery has a school, every church should have a school attached to it. That is how this Pallikudam concept became so widespread in the southern part of the country. And he also believed that good quality food should be served. So basically, the schools were attached to some of the rice fields, or so that good quality food can be produced and then given to children. So the importance of food, nutrition and food in the development of a child is well recognized by our founder. So we just want to take it forward on a pan-India level, and how best we can contribute to developing a healthy food culture, and thereby create a new generation of health conscious people. That's what we are aiming at. And the Rajagiri Roundtable, 69th Rajagiri Roundtable, is intended to create this kind of awareness about a healthy appetite. And we are sure that we now have the resources spread across the country. We have entrepreneurs, we have research institutes, and we have the technology with us to really take this forward. So even as we are abundant in food grains, the lifestyle problems and all the health issues that we are confronting, that should be tackled head on if we have to reduce the morbidities. So today we have a set of panelists drawn from the industry, from research, and even teachers and parents. All of them are going to discuss how best we can change the negative part of our food culture, and then try to bring in a revolution in terms of good quality food. So I've talked a lot of negatives, but we'll start off with something positive. So we'll quickly go to Dr. Jayadeep, and Dr. A. Jayadeep is head of the Grain Science and Technology Division in CFTRI. As you know, CFTRI is involved in a lot of research in basically different areas, and one of them is grain science, how to make our grains more fortified. There are so many areas with vitamins and other things. So let's hear from Dr. A. Jayadeep. What are the advances in food technology that will enable us to build a healthy generation?
So first of all, I wish to thank the organizers and especially Sri Kumar for inviting me for this panel discussion. He has given a good introduction and given a good lead for this panel discussion. Yes, many of the points he has raised is very relevant. So in that connection, CSAR, CFTR is one of the research organization coming under the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. So we do have around 39 laboratories all over India working on various fields like from aerospace, chemical, or and chemical, the physical laboratory. So multiple areas of science we are dealing with. So in that respect, the CFTR is working from 1950 onward. It's in the field of value addition to our food grains. So like already introduced by Mr. Sri Kumar, in the early 1960s, when we were suffering from famine and also because of the war, and at that time also there was no technology from outside was not there. Everything had to be made in us. So at that time only that's the first time that Amul has later, based on the laboratory information, it has been taken up by Amul, and now we are seeing the this revolution of the white revolution we are seeing. So like that, other areas where it contributed is in the field of instant foods. So way back in 1964, so our scientists who are working in CFTRI has developed a number of instant products. So at that time, people thought, okay, this easily can be made in a kitchen. So why do you want instant food? But now people are realizing the importance of research. Now, number of industries like MTR or GITS, they are marketing a number of food products like whether it is idli mix or dosa or vada or even the gulab jam. Products are developed as a result of the research carried out in the CFTRI. The problem was the hunger. So how we can reduce the hunger at those. So at that time, in fact, one of the research which was carried out is like he told that during the 1960s, so wheat was imported from US to satisfy the hunger in India, and especially South Indians we prefer rice. So at that time, the whole speed of the wheat, you can imagine. So at that time, our scientists have thought how we can satisfy the desire to have the rice to our South Indian people. So what we did is taken the cheap tapioca flour and fabricated, passed through some meshes so that it will result in the rice-shaped grain. So such was the thought made by those days. So they have transformed the tapioca flour into rice rice type grains and satisfied the desire for the rice with respect to the hunger. So now the things have changed. The green revolution came, so we are have come up with plenty of grain. So in 1990s, so we felt that okay, there are plenty of foods, and the food was very cheap. So gradually, people have moved from the to the value addition. The number of value-added products have started coming, and people also felt the that importance of value addition. One is it will reduce the wastage of the perishable products. Another one is convenience with respect to the preparation. So from that stage, now the two things have happened. Nutrition. With nutrition also, you can say a decade back. wherein people were looking for nutritious food, sufficient nutrients of vitamins, minerals, and other things, proteins. So now the new thing is, so despite of having sufficient nutritious food, still people are looking for the better health with respect to higher or reduced incidence of diseases. That means the prevention of diseases. So that means basically wellness. So because of the this desire for well-being, so that means whether it should be free from anemia or whether it is from pre-diabetes or whether it is free from the lower blood cholesterol. So people are looking for the food-based approach for meeting their wellness requirements. So in that respect, now the new trend is that nutraceuticals. So nutraceutical is actually nothing but the chemical compound which activates our food. So that if you extract in a concentrated form, either it can be taken in the form of a tablet or it can be taken in normal food. So one is nutraceuticals, another one is the dietary supplements. Of course, all of us are familiar with the dietary supplements. So for example, vitamin C is actually a dietary supplement. Um, as per the ICMR recommendation, each one of us is supposed to take minimum quantity of macronutrients like protein, carbohydrates, micronutrients like vitamin C or zinc, iron. But beyond that, if you want to have the health beyond that, like we have seen during the COVID time, so doctors were recommending the vitamin C tablets and zinc, both are actually nutrients. So when you take the nutrients in a prescribed quantity higher than the normal requirement, it is found that it is preventing some of the disease that, or it will protecting us from the and much more immunity. Then such kind of things are known as the dietary supplements. And third one is the health foods, or you can say functional foods. So wherein it is not a chemical extract, or it is not a higher concentrated nutrient, but it's a food that. So for example, Chinese have the habit of taking green tea. So they are taking tea, the form of tea, they are taking the benefit of production of BP and such kind of things. Similarly, we're all familiar with the rice bran oil. So nowadays, people are saying that you consume rice bran oil, so it will result in reduction of our blood cholesterol and also improve our cardiac health. It is true. So what we do is we are natural food having higher phytocomponents, which will give health benefit. Similarly, our whole grain products, for example, whole grain products means previously we have the habit of consuming maida-based food products. Actually, a refined wheat, so wherein there is no fiber and also there is no the components present along the grain of the wheat.
Dr. Jayadeep, your sound is breaking. I think voice is breaking.
I shall reduce the speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now there is a previously people that have the habit of consuming the refined wheat. So, for example, refined wheat is the maida-based food products. But unfortunately, that is lacking in fiber and other phytocomponents actually present in the whole wheat. So now, because of the higher awareness, so now people are looking for whole wheat atta, so which is actually rich in this fiber and phytocomponents. So additionally, people are also looking into multi-grain products. You might have seen that, this multinational or Indian companies like Ashirwad marketing the multi-grains. So wherein they have identified the importance of multiple products. So for example, instead of taking the normal chapati from wheat, so you are multi-grain, you will be getting the benefits of multiple products. So like that, I was telling that, so now the trend has changed from satisfying our hunger to the healthy habit. In that respect, identification of foods which are higher health beneficial components people are looking for. So in that respect, only I was telling about the importance of the whole foods. So in that connection, being a Kerala and the conference is in Kerala, so we are looking into the rice. So rice, nowadays the doctors are recommending not to eat rice because of the increase in the blood glucose level rapidly. Yes, there is a truth is there in that one, but that doesn't mean we have to avoid rice. So we need to look into how we can improve the quality of rice with respect to reduction of the glucose level in the blood. In that direction, CFTRI has developed one process, so wherein the increased blood glucose level of the rice is reduced because of the processing effect. When you classify the rice based on the index, the northeast rice, that means what is available in the northeast rice that we are not consuming, it is having high glycemic index, whereas the South Indian rice, so whatever we are consuming, that is relatively low. So it doesn't mean that it is recommended to diabetes, because not to get a claim for the good for diabetic, we need to come down furthermore. That means we have to come down our glycemic index to such kind of processing will result in developing this kind of rice. So that means we need to satisfy our requirement of the food which we are consuming. So the research effort improve the what is the quality with respect to the health and wellness. So in that respect, one more thing is previously we were consuming the rice after pounding. So at that time, some bran and germ was remained, and that is actually the healthy rice. But advanced and developments, so we are refining the rice extensively. Now we are getting the highly polished rice that is actually not good for the health. So in that respect, to work with respect to development of the brown, wherein we are through the processing technique. So we have developed the brown rice, which is palatable, edible, and convenient to. Then products are also made. So like looking for noodles. Of course, we have also done some experiments with respect to development of brown rice noodles, so that our food desire will be maintained, and along with that, how we can incorporate the. Then one more thing is now government of India is mentioning that wheat flour, which is going to be marketed for 2 years, fortified. Yes, actually, we do have a fortification technique. So wherein required vitamins and minerals, and additionally, three PDS fortified. But rice fortification is a challenging thing. That's of washing the rice before cooking. So because of the existing technology, it is not able to bind properly these vitamins and minerals into the rice. It is getting leached out. So we are also trying the novel technology wherein we can transform the rice flour by blending the vitamin premix, and that will result in a green-shaped product without losing the quality of the vitamin. Then in relation to the improvement of the health aspect, so I need to talk about the children's food habit. So for example, children are all the time skipping their breakfast because one is lack of time, in the morning, and third one is they are looking for a fast food, everything fast, so that they can finish it up and catch their bus. Children, but also office goers are also have the habit of finding a convenient food product. Yes. So in that respect, also we are working on development of a multi-grain beverage. So not from the single grain, so through incorporation of multiple grains, so millets, pulses, so that will satisfy the requirement of calorie, protein, micronutrients, and also the nutraceuticals which I took. So that the requirement of convenience and nutrition should be safe also. That means it should be possible to be stored for a longer period in the shelf, so that people can keep it in the shelf and consume. So the development of food products which we are looking for. Next one is convenience. Then the nutrition. Nowadays, importance of health, and it should be stable. All these aspects. So we are developing the food products. In that respect, one more point, the last point we tell is regarding the breakfast. So in the case of Kerala, of course, it is a rich and breakfast in the school program, panchayat level. They may be getting better nutritious products. Whereas when you go to other states, we can see that they are suffering from poverty and they are looking for an That means cheaper food product with the higher nutritional values. So that we are also working in the field of that is instant breakfast foods, traditional breakfast foods. So that means, for example, you are developing an instant, convenient that's upama mix, so which can be made in the school level within 10 minutes. That will be very convenient for the school people. Otherwise, cooking, you need a cook, you need other utensils. So we are working in the field of developing instant food in the form of upama mix or in the form of rice flakes, and also in the form of many of the traditional products. So wherein the point I have mentioned also need to be looked in. One is convenience, then nutrition, the health comfort, and also safety. So considering all this, so number of research is going on to improve the nutrition and health of our people. So this is just an introductory
Yeah,
aspect.
that's a great introduction, Dr. Jayadeep, because one of the main concerns expressed by people now is the high glycemic. One of the reasons why diabetes and other non-communicable diseases are increasing. So now you are giving us hope that all these things can be brought down through appropriate technology, and even fortification, although it is difficult, you can add more vitamins and other nutrients into our existing food. So that's a good vision and hope that you are spreading through CFTRI, and we'll come back to you later in the session. So we'll quickly go to Dr. Zareena Sultana, who is an associate professor and soft skills trainer at ISL Engineering College, Hyderabad. So we would like to ask her from her perspective, what are the, despite all these changes taking place, like there are some good things happening in research and other areas, but are we taking that spirit with us, or are we still eating the same old way in an unhealthy manner, especially in families, how children imbibe such things? So we'll have a quick look from Zareena on this.
Yeah. Greetings and good evening to everyone. I'm really very pleased to be here with you all. And I could get a lot of information from the previous speaker. Thank you so much, sir. But I think mine is a much easier topic as compared to what others are speaking. So unhealthy food habits, being a teacher for a very long time, 30 years in this profession, I have seen students, like how they are changing the eating habits. They just go by what others say. Now, just you think about, like, let me talk about myself or all the people who are here. Imagine our parents. Our parents used to cook food earlier on wood and charcoal, and from there again it went to stoves, and then from gas, and now microwave. This is how the cooking has changed, and so also the change of, the taste changes. Once the style of the fuel which we use to cook, and because of that the eating habits and the taste also changes and everything changes. Now these students, nowadays everything is junk. The junk food with the McDonald's and the KFCs, and now the mandis thriving all over India, especially in Hyderabad. At every nook and corner you find the mandis. The rich eating habits are really spoiling the lifestyle of the children. And then the poor planning of eating. One of the main reasons, poor planning of eating. They don't eat. They plan um, a poor planning of eating. Okay? And then late eating, very late eating. Eating at night. Usually the students are awake at night and they eat at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock at night. That is one of the reasons. And another reason is that they don't drink proper water. The intake of water is very poor. This is one of the reasons, and lack of sleep. Some of the reasons, these are some of the reasons which I really want to share. And I have seen, even my own children, I'm a mother of 4 daughters, and I've seen, they just get McDonald's 800 rupees, 900 rupees, 2 or 3 of them. What in the end, what do they get? The French fries are coated with wax, and the heavy, what do the say the uh, like the I'm just not getting the word. The sauces, exactly. Yes, the sauces and all that. These add to the weight, and they are gaining weight. And parents are not controlling. If the child is eating the giant portions which are being given to the students, they just want the children to eat, and there's lack of exercise. The children don't exercise properly. The intake is more, but the output is less. But just yesterday, I came across a child who is just 9 years old, and he is 28 kg extra than his actual weight he has to be. He's just 9 years old. Why? Because of the unhealthy food habits. The parents are not stopping in spite of and his blood pressure is increasing. A boy of 9-year-old boy is having blood pressure 130. That's really on the higher side. So who is to be blamed? The parents. We are not guiding the children on the right direction. What they have to eat, what they shouldn't be eating, and then they play video games. We just put the video. They play the video games, and the parents are serving the food in front of the video game, and they are busy eating. Don't you think? Then this is one of the lack of exercise. They are not moving. So this is one of the reasons I feel, and in the end, some people are allergic to dust, pollen, animal hair, and certain foods. In in spite of that, still they continue giving them the same food. Then another reason, uh, smoking and growing. This is also affecting our lungs. And another 2-3 points which I had written, and not eating together. We aren't eating together. The parents, earlier when we were small, we used to eat, all of us used to eat together, sharing and caring. This is how we had our food habits. Now we don't eat together. We don't have sitting in front of the TV and just watching video games or anything. We just eat. So these are some of the reasons I felt, which I wanted to bring to your notice. And now we as parents should see that we give our children more protein, advise them to drink more water, and plan the meals accordingly, and avoid giving them too much fried food and all that. This is really very unhealthy, and they should fight stress, advise the children to get involved in activities, sports activities. Nowadays we all see students with, whenever you go out, you'll find the students only on mobiles, no physical activities. Lack of physical activity is one of the reasons for poor habits, unhealthy food habit, and then we don't get enough sleep. So these are some of the reasons that I think we all together can bring a lot of difference in the eating habits of our children. This is I really felt some of the points. I hope this is
Yeah.
enough for me to explain.
Yeah.
Right, sir?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I
thank
think-
you. You raised some important points from a parent perspective also, like eating at irregular times and not taking sufficient water. So many issues that you have highlighted, like craving for this fast food and all. So
Yes.
we'll quickly go to, I think that's the right opportunity for us to go to Manju Sharath, who's a nutrition consultant based in Bangalore and a wellness advisor. So let's hear from her how best, like it's always good to talk about the negative aspects, but what can be done by the parents and also at the school level to inculcate the right habits, and so that children always love to have good quality food and energetic and healthy food.
Thank you so much for calling me this panel. As before me, the speaker, Jayadeep sir and Dr. Zareena ma'am has clearly told, there are so many of my points which I have written it. I think they are very clear, because the parents need to lead by example rather than, preaching kind of a thing. Because recently, one example, as ma'am was telling, I specialize and I have more cases from PCOD, PCOS. I deal with thyroid people and all these things. And most of the cases are from women's aspect. So I see people worried from the parents, like in the age of 8, girls, girls are getting puberty very faster. and 10 years onwards, they look more matured. And by the time 11 or 12, they are getting PCOD, PCOS, where this puberty really starting, that's the time they're getting PCOD, PCOS. That is the issues more I am hearing kind of a thing. But when I ask them what kind of lifestyle they lead, they tell, we eat everything, we eat anything. But when I ask the kid, the one kid 4.5 years was telling, I was shocked to hear from him that Mummy, Papa's friends come for party at home, we can eat KFC, pizza. Why not my friends comes to party at home? Why can't we eat, burgers and pizzas? This is a question from my 4.5 years, because I also am a parent of 2 kids. We have 8 years and 4.5 years old. But the thing is, parents are not understanding to lead by example. I think I'm sure that, older generation parents are the best parents. I never seen going for, I don't even remember going for restaurants by bribing kind of thing. See, when you do this, I'll give you chocolate. When you do in this way, I'll give you, when you do a homework, I'll give you a chips packet. This is what parents are really bribing. In front of me, I could able to see, because as a parent, I also go and meet a lot of parents with my kids. This is what they do it. So I'm really shocked, and it's the habit it's cultivating, because in Bangalore, as ma'am was telling, in Hyderabad, she can see all the corner, this mandi biryani, we can see all the corners from the junk food, from a juice shop, from a McDonald's, KFC. If I go out, this is what we can see it kind of a thing. But as a parents, what they need to understand is, this is the few points I have written as: eat simple, inexpensive food will make us very healthy. As Jayadeep sir was telling, the millets, the concept, I know we remember everybody giving the millet, one millet. In Kerala, I think very famous is pearl millet, which called ragi. I remember I'm sure we all have eaten in from the 6 months onwards. Doctors suggested to give it very simple food, because very high fiber food, which absorb is a complex food, which we can eat it. But by the time 3 years, parents will decide that they don't like it. Kids started, not liking it, not liking to eat it. But how come kids are eating sweets? How come kids are learning about the chocolate names? They are not thinking about in that way. Food, there is no choices for the kids. In schools, I'm in Bangalore, international schools are very high up. If you see, they give a package of including the canteen for the school free, and then school packages. They give, one day it will be pasta, one day it will be burger, one day it will be, normal food. But most of the days we have all Indo-continental foods. This is how they bribe, from the parents also. This is what we give it. Very proudly they say. I don't know. I'm not much sure about Kerala schools, because we are sitting in Bangalore, but I have heard from my clients that international schools are providing the packet or the processed food very, very easily to the kids. So from at home, we as a parent, we have to start and we have to give them. I know that 18 years old is telling, I don't want to eat breakfast, because my parents now are eating the breakfast. I never seen eat them breakfast in the name of dieting, because pandemic started. Kids are clearly seeing the parents, because all are at home, but nobody has time to sit and eat. As ma'am was telling, eating time should be no mobile, no TV time, because brains are getting confused, that they are not understanding. But they're clearly understanding from the looking, and they're seeing parents are most of the times in the mobile. They're telling, eating time only, at least I'm taking this. You can eat with mobile, why can't I? This is a question from a 10 years old. And another thing, cooking properly, as ma'am was already covered about the way we have cooking has changed. But we need to, I think the parents has to take, and in schools, we should have a culture of having a cooking class, where at least a simple non-fire kind of a culture, where kids will enjoy and they will eat salads. How many parents, if we ask, are you eating a fruit? No, we are eating as a snacks time. We are eating biscuits. 2 biscuits, what is a big deal? And this parent will be asking what to do for the constipation. So these are the questions which I have covered. I tell them simple traditional foods wherever you are from, even I have clients from USA, UK, Australia, and most of the countries. I'll tell them to eat as per their traditional foods. When they start eating their traditional food, they have come out of sleep depression, anxiety tablets. They have come out of the cholesterol. They have come out of thyroid issues. They have reversed the PCOD, PCOS, diabetic issues as well. Second thing is proper cooking. We have to teach them. And third thing is sprouting. Ask one kid how many lentils we can eat. They don't know what is lentils because they know about chicken, fish, or whatever fast food they have available. We are not including that. Salads. How many of us are eating in a meal, in a big meal with the salads? We are starting with the salads. We don't go on that side. We go on other carbohydrate, other dessert, all the sides, even if we go for a buffet. And fourth thing is don't waste the food. That is another thing what we really teach the kids, because the teaching the kids means we have to lead by example. As I said, don't force kids to eat food. If they're full, they are not understanding whether they are thirsty, whether they are hunger, by making it full. And they're not concentrating when they are, as ma'am said clearly, they are not drinking water because they are confused with, is it a thirsty or is it a hunger? Even I have clients who comes for obesity in different age group. I ask them to drink water, and I ask them to first initially to see how much water they're drinking. Hardly people says that they'll drink 1 liter of water. Very hardly. But when we concentrate in drinking water, automatically we reduce the eating capacity and automatically, we cut down unwanted food kind of a thing. I think this is the simple thing: water intake and eating simple food and more of complex food will help us to get more of nutrition kind of. And 2 varieties of fruits, which I suggest most of the people to eat it, and that's what help us. At least most of them cannot afford supplement kind of a thing. I can understand it, but at least we can overcome all these things. 1 or 2 nutrition deficiency lead to more problem, but at least we can start by it. Eating the small things can change a lot of things. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Manju Sharath, for that very insightful views from your side. Actually, when you talked about biscuit, today morning I had one incident in our office. Along with tea, they bought biscuit and I refused to have it. So once I had discussion for this program with so many people, I'm now really scared of taking processed food. So I think that message should actually go. And once children come to realize it. Yesterday I was talking to my daughter also, how much junk food we are unknowingly or knowingly consuming and causing all these problems. So we'll quickly go to Ubais Ali, Executive Director of Medukatil Mills, because one reason why these processed foods are harmful is that they contain a lot of oils which are harmful for us. And we also use oil as a cooking medium. We are all delighted at eating fried fruits. So their oil is the medium. So more than water, we are now using some oil base to make products and also processed products. So we'll look at how healthy our oils are and how best we can make it healthy. So I think Ubais Ali is the right person to talk on that. And before that, and after that, we'll of course quickly go to Jose Varkey and Sijit Srijar, who are wellness coaches in their age. So over to Ubais Ali.
Good evening, all. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm thanking Mr. Sri Kumar for giving me this opportunity to talk in this panel. I'm basically from edible oil industry or the cooking oil industry. So I'll be talking much in terms of the cooking oil. So as you all know, cooking oil is basically an integral part of our diet. Whether it is Kerala or in any other state in India, everybody has got their own cooking oil, specific cooking oils, which has been used for a very long years. And now there has been a lot of, if you look in Kerala, there has been a lot of banning of brands have happened in the last 5 years. almost 250 brands of coconut oil has been banned in Kerala, especially, and that is one of the major cooking oil in Kerala. So what you have to understand, the cooking oil if you look at coconut oil as such, it's one of you can say it is a virgin oil. Virgin oil in the sense it is not done any kind of processing, like whether there is any neutralizing done, any kind of bleaching done. It is actually it's just virgin in nature. That is nothing added from outside. We have been using that kind of a coconut oil for a very long time, and we are very used to it. But Western culture was not used to it. So they had the refined oils, and they started off propagating, or they started saying that virgin oils are good. That's how the Western culture started saying that virgin oils are good. That is why virgin olive oil is good, virgin coconut oil is good, virgin ginger oil is good. All these things have started coming. So you have to understand what is refined in that case. So many people, many layman or many common man doesn't know what is refined. They believe that refined means it's the most purest oil or the most purest in nature. I mean, unfortunately, refined in English means, yes, it's refined to its ultimate purity or something like that. Basically, the refined vegetable oil, whatever we find in the market, is basically a terminology given for a process called neutralizing, bleaching, and deodorizing, just like refining of petroleum. This is actually refining of vegetable oil. So whether you take refined palm oil, or whether you take refined sunflower oil, whether you take any other refined oils, it's basically, it means that it has undergone, it doesn't have any relation to the purity of the oil or the virgin nature of the oil. It means that it is a oil which has undergone neutralizing, bleaching, and deodorizing. So what is neutralizing, bleaching, deodorizing? See, in Kerala, if you look at coconut oil, if it gets rancid means it gets oxidized and gets rancid. We normally throw it away. We don't use it anymore. But neutralizing, when you do a neutralizing, any oil for that matter, you can bring it back to a usable condition by neutralizing it. Either you have to do a physical refining or a chemical refining by adding other alkaline substances to it, and you neutralize the acidic nature of the oil, and then you bleach it. That is, you are removing the natural color of it, and you are deodorizing it by removing the natural smell of it. So this is how all the refined oils comes. That is, it undergoes these three processes: neutralizing, bleaching, deodorizing. So in the means of this process, many times there is a lot of trans fats has been created. In our research, we have found almost 8 to 10% of trans fat in many of the refined oils. Why? Because when they do any kind of deodorizing or a high temperature processing in the on the oil, this kind of the natural structure of an oil, or a natural fatty acid glyceride structure, triglyceride structure of an oil, gets converted into something called trans fats, which are man-made fats. All fats, for that matter, all natural fats, our body has got system to digest it or decompose it. But trans fats, which are man-made fats, our body doesn't know what to do with that. And if you look at the current cooking oil industry, the trans fats levels is very high, and nobody is bothered about it. World is moving to a zero trans fat culture, and in India, nobody is bothered. Even if you look at the standards, the benchmark specification of coconut oil, I can say specifically coconut oil because I'm from the coconut oil industry. If you look at the standard specification, benchmark specification of coconut oil, it's very primitive. It is not updated. From 1976 onwards, the same primitive standards has been actually getting followed. The current standards of coconut oil, the Food Safety Standards Authority of FSI standards for coconut oil, has got contradictions in the standards, and at the same time, it has got only 8 parameters, which can be satisfied even with 50% of coconut oil. you want only 50% of original coconut oil to get satisfied these 8 parameters. That means with 50% of original coconut oil, you can retail a product as coconut oil in India. But if you look at the other countries like Middle East Gulf Standard Organizations or in US FDA or in European Union standards, they are getting updated. They update the standards regularly. They update to give a check on the adulterations or any blending of oils. So these kind of updations are not happening in India, and just because of that, everybody gets fooled by this the lobby, which is actually creating oils by actually blending with other cheaper oils. So what we always say that it is high time that we give a cry on this kind of standards which are outdated, which needs to get updated regularly. So because until and unless these cry has come from the people to get these standards updated, this exploitation will continue. Now the problem is that even the genuine people cannot retail or compete with these spurious products, because we also say coconut oil, they also say coconut oil, and both has got FSI numbers and standards, AGMA specification, everything is there. But whether this is getting updated, it is not happening. Whether you are checking the trans fats on the oils, it is not happening. Whether you are checking any hexane content in the more than level, it is not happening. So these kinds of problems are there in the industry, which needs to get people has to be aware about it. If you look at international standards, they have clearly bifurcated categories of oil, how they have been extracted. There are solvent extraction or refined oil has been categorized as one, virgin oil has been categorized as a different category, and there is cold pressed oil which has been categorized as different. So this category has to be clearly mentioned on the packaging. It's very important there. But in India, every oil, whether it is solvently extracted, whether it is refined, whether it is virgin, it has got only one standard, and it has been it has been categorized as only one, and that is the issue. So this is the root cause for all these adulterations or blendings happening in this industry. And we are eating all these kind of material, whatever has been prepared, whether it is bakery, confectionery, or in snacks, or whatever it is, you have been using these oils. And our children are also eating this. And that is why it is very important that we need to have high time to give a check on these kind of things and people be aware about it. We have to bring all these things to the people. Because this is a lobby. See, if you look at coconut oil, it's a cooking oil only for southern states like Kerala or Tamil Nadu or in some parts of Karnataka. Otherwise, the rest of the 90% of the people doesn't use coconut oil as a cooking oil. So for them, it's a hair oil or a skin oil. So so the lobbying is much higher, or a bigger part of India has got a rest of it's another interest for them. But for Kerala, it's a cooking oil. So our lobbying is very less compared to the rest of India. So the lobbying has to be more stronger or more specific to make sure that the standards are getting updated. So this is not happening these days. So I just want to give a light on this kind of issues. These are the root causes which is prevailing in India, and just because of that, the adulterations and the and blending of oils is actually very prevalent in the cooking oil industry. And just want to throw a little on the specialty fats and other fats which has been created out of the natural oils. Especially in the bakery and confectionery industries, there is a lot of specialty fats has been used, which is basically a modification of the existing fats to have it given aesthetic appeal for the product. So what happens is that in the modification or in the process of making it appealing, like fluffy or like like whiteness or all these things, aesthetic appeal, when we are actually modifying the existing fats, what happens is that there is a lot of man-made fats are getting created, and this is coming into our foods. So we need to have a clear check on these kind of issues, and we need to have a clear upper limit for the trans fats in foods. So these kind of regulations has to come, and that has to cry, that kind of a cry has to come from the people. Until unless people gets the awareness regarding these kind of issues, it's not going to happen. So whatever time has been allotted to me, I would like to close with this.
Yeah, that's a very great insight, because we normally don't give much importance to the cooking medium. We think that, okay, giving a refined label gives a quality assurance of that product. And likewise, you said about the lack of standards, compared to US and other countries. So we are still following a very outmoded standard, and that's why the industry is also not innovating enough to come up with the healthy levels. So we'll quickly go to Chef Joe's Varkey. He's from CGH Earth, and he calls himself a wellness chef. So let's find out. Generally, the 5-star and other food industry, hospitality industry is blamed for causing this all these health issues in the society. So let's hear from him, and also Dr. Sijit later on, how they are transforming the lives of people through a wellness approach to food. So over to Joe's Varkey, chef.
First of all, let me thank all of you for having invited me for this thing. And I'm really happy that Ubesh has put this so bluntly, and that is one of the basic causes of malnutrition in India, or poor nutrition in India. Can anyone see the topic that I have displayed on a PPT? Hello, Srikumar, can you see the PPT?
No.
And I think then I'll close it here. So the topic that I would like to talk about is nutrient deficient overeating of gourmet junk food. As you all know, 5-star hotels are famous for the so-called big name called gourmet food. But in effect, the gourmet food turns out to be the worst food in most cases. I've been a chef for the last 44 years, educated with public money way back in 1977. When I passed out, my principal, Tangam Philip, told that you must be of some value to the society for the money that the public has spent for you. I realized about it only after about 4 years, and for the last 4 years, I've transformed myself into a wellness chef, whereby I'm questioning every inch of. I've been practicing for the last 40 years as a regular mainstream chef. Well, when this topic itself is quite a narrative by itself. Nutrition deficient overeating of gourmet junk food. I think all the previous speakers have been thinking about the junk food that we are all eating. Whereas Mr. Jayadeep from CFTRI said, on one side, there's all these processing parts are becoming more and more healthier. Whereas what we really experience in the market is that that's not really happening. Day from every day, something or other is coming up, which is so much dangerous for health. So we at CGH, the group of hotels, I mean, we have got about 20 hotels, and about in which there are 4 wellness places. We are very particular that we give only whole food, and we don't believe actually in most of the so-called high-end processed food, which they claim as not really processed. The reason is very simple. While processing, you are adding additives which none of us know, and they will put some kind of numbers which none of us know, and any numbers which we don't know obviously is our body also will never know. So in fact, the whole of our supermarkets, if you look at there, I don't know that there is even one product. I don't know how is Mr. Ali's, Mr. Ubais's oil coming out to be. One product which is not processed. So the real reason for the malnutrition is not the lack of food. There is plenty of food. There's plenty of excess food. It is overeating of junk gourmet food. Well, we all blame the multinationals for that, but multinationals just brought it on one side, but we have nurtured it in a big way. We don't have the policy. I mean, of course, this meeting is all about advice on the policies. Do we have a policy check on this nutrition deficient gourmet food that is served not only in fast food restaurants, even in 5-star hotels? I mean, having worked for so many years in many parts of the world and in India, I can very well say that most of the food is made to the convenience of the chef rather than the health of the person who is eating it. The person have put their faith in us. The people have said that, we believe strongly, we chefs believe strongly the embodiments. What we give to the patient, to the guest, is their embodiment. We are embodiments of what we eat. But honestly, when it comes to practical ground, we forget it or we keep it aside conveniently. So from food, we require feel good factor, or what we call make good factor in our body. We require the kind of sharpness, always being sharp. We require always to be hydrated. We require always to be alkaline. All these points are now actually resting with only the what we call Mahatma Gandhi's what we call the naturopathy clinics. Why? The speaker next to me is our Dr. Sijit. And Dr. Sijit will give in detail about one point which Mahatma Gandhi realized way back, but we at the 21st century we have not realized it. Although he started the first naturopathy called naturopathy hospital in Pune, it is still regarded as some third class thing. I mean, of course, there are a lot of momentum coming in, and in fact, the best nutritionists are being crafted out in these colleges where naturopathy is taught. So I don't want to go in detail because I don't want to go much more into anything else, but to talk about the nutrition education, the nutrition awareness, a concerted effort to regain what naturopathy principles are, is in need of the hour to save the nation. Everybody said some time back that India is going to be a superpower in so and so years. But it is very clear that we are never going to be superpower because the extra manpower, the extra technology people that we have got, all going to be in a state of sickness when they reach 35, 40 years of age. Even I have two of my children who are quite well placed in various industries, but because of their habits, I'm worried whether they will be able to work like me at the age of 50 or 60 or 67. I'm already 67. The reason being that their food habits I could not influence so far. But somebody has to bell the cat. Even with my so much of knowledge about wellness food, wellness culinary, and then we give it to a niche group of people who come to us, who pay us quite a lot of money. But we are not able to take it to the masses, neither to my family. So I would like to end by saying that the nutrition awareness, nutrition aware, the real issue of nutrition has to be understood. And the only people so far who have understood is the naturopathy doctors, and especially the PG doctors who have done their MD in nutrition after having spent 5.5 years in naturopathy learnings and yoga and things like that. They spend about 3 more years to learn nutrition. So in other words, about 4.5 years they learn about nutrition, practical nutrition based on human physiology. Today, one of the primary, I will end up by saying one of the primary reasons why we are not able to meet the nutrition standards is the physiology or the body's requirement of nutrition is rarely understood by most of these people who are policy makers, who are food manufacturers. So I'll just end up by saying that if we can get back to our basics, or barefoot luxury, or listen to what our grandmas used to say, we will be saved. Otherwise, we have quite a gloomy future. India is never going to be a superpower as we claim, because of our extra manpower that we have. Thank you for listening. And I would like to, in case anyone has got a question on I'll be more than willing to share and answer.
Yeah.
That. Thank you.
So you have raised one or two important points. One is that your chef cooks based on his convenience rather than the health of the person who is going to consume it. And so that is a very valid point. And so we'll actually go to Soju Philip now before we go to Sijit Sridhar. Now, because the entire blame is now put on the hotel industry, and also the five-star hotels and even the big companies that produce all these processed foods. So you are at the receiving end now. So what defense you have against all these allegations, and what is the problem that actually creates, what is the process or your attitude or whatever in the hotel industry that creates this problem, and how best you can address this? So we'll go to Soju Philip, and then thereafter we'll go to Sijit for a wider explanation of the naturopathy and yoga, how it can help us.
Yeah, good evening, all of you. It's a great pleasure to be with you all in this fine evening to talk about one of the most needed topic of the hour. Because the malnutrition or undernutrition is a question of the hour now, and I think it is too late to talk. And this is the right time. Maybe it won't be much worse than the before. We need to think about the reasons. We all are alleging each other. What is the reason? What is the problem? Each other, where it's lying out, the root causes, and everything is there. But we need to analyze where we went wrong, where we went it wrong, and how we went it there. Maybe you all realize or remember in our young years or the childhood years where we live. We live with the enough food. We live with the enough resources. We respect the resources. We know what is there, what is in that. From our parents, from our ancestors, we learned the importance of the food. We learned the nutritional aspects of the food from our grandmas, from our moms, from our everyone. They taught us what do you need to have, what do you need to have seasonally, what do you have to have the local, what do you have to have, what is there available. We never go to an outside restaurant. Even I was today in the morning, I was talking to some of my family members. In our olden days, there was no restaurants there. If you're traveling in a national highway in Kerala today, you can see thousands of restaurants are mushrooming up. And thousands of restaurants is mostly, what is that? Mandis, Alfam, all these Middle Eastern. I remember that nearly 10 years back, I wrote an article in Deccan Herald about the Middle Eastern cuisine conquering in Indian cuisine. At that time, there was no much Middle Eastern cuisine or Middle Eastern restaurants, all these local setups restaurants in Kerala. But now it is mushrooming up like anywhere. In Kochi, I was working in Ramada Resort. We are seeing in Kochi, the city sides, suburban areas. Only the kulmandi and one or two items, how the people are rushing over there. And what they are getting over there. We need to analyze why and what it happened so. See, one thing is there. We need to go back. We need to go back to our roots. Nearly the last decade of the last century, maybe not the second last decade of the century, like the 80s or maybe the last of 70s. There is a big mission or big program is set up in a Western country, especially in Italy, a slow food movement. In those times, exactly same in India, and we fastly forwarding to the fast food movement. So we are trying to see our lifestyles are changed now. We are not living in 20th century. We are moving forward. We are going to be one of the developed countries. We are going fast forward. We are going digitally. We are going, all these high funded things are seen by the governments. I will still say our administration levels are very weak. Why we are getting all these poison foods? Why our supplies are not correct? Why our markets are not clean? Can you see any single market in Kerala? Can you see any market in India? A hygiene waste leveled up? A slaughterhouse in India? Anything? Where we are going to be? We are going to make flyovers. We are going to make bridges, multi-story buildings, all this digital India, cashless, make in India. See, we need to go back to our roots. Don't allocate any irrespectively to the hotel industries. Okay, we say in every aspect of the industries, every business, there is negatives and positive sides. Who are doing a business is for the money. Money is, last time I wrote a book and some other person, last time I bought a book from one of my colleagues. And I just see a story only. And I asked them, the topic saying something else and the contents was totally different, totally commercialized. I called the guy, so dear friend, the topic is saying something else and the content is different, totally commercialized, you taking money, and my friend, this is all business now. Why you want to create? We are looking for some other new destination. They say new destinations of Kerala, but there's no new destination. Only new hotels are in Kerala. See, this level our industry is going. We are become a consumer state in India, Kerala especially, and India wholesomely. We are going to a consumer state. We are consuming everything, and so the markets are become like that. They are here to torture us. The markets, the products. I can say not even a single item is there can have a safe thing. We say, can you guarantee anyone here? Any single product in the markets, the oils, the fats, the process, the vegetables. The vegetables are totally all coming from the nearby states. If they cross the borders, there is no vegetable. So in between, there was allegations came. The vegetables are totally poisoned. We are saying about the many cases in all this Kasaragod and everything. We are suffering with many cases of this poisoning of the vegetables. But still, any incident happens, the poisoning or the what do you call the ammonia adding in the seafoods, the fish items. What we can buy from the market today? We cannot buy anything. We cannot go buy anything. Only thing you need to do, you need to go back to your house to do something, the proper basic things you need to start from the home. That is the one thing we need to address. In the hotel industry, if it's coming to the 5-star hotel, we say it's a gourmet food or the junk foods and everything. In certain fact, we accept it. There is, but still, we need to open a segments. We need to analyze certain things, that how we can reduce the usage of this trans fat, how we can reduce the usage of this altered foods, how we can reduce, how we can go more locally or more locally source the ingredients and everything. See, one thing we need to keep in mind, we need to inculcate a culture in our students, in our next generation, the importance of the food. The importance is very much. Now everything is, as Chef Joseph was saying, everything is too much. Exactly same. Everything is too much. If in a home, if you buy a 2,000 rupees grocery, the 50% or 25 to 40% of the grocery is going waste in our every household. So we need to inculcate a culture in the students that in our next generation kids, that the importance of the food, where it is coming. The farmers are striking in our borders in northern India for their rights. The farmers are for their survival. So we need to understand the importance of the food. We need to teach them how to eat mindful eating. There is no mindful eating nowadays. People I see in the restaurant, I always hate that thing. If a person coming in opposite to me and sit with a mobile phone and having a food, I tell my dear friend, I'm sorry, I don't want to share a table with you. Because I see in the restaurant, if a family come of 4, husband, wife, and 2 kids, 4 are engaged in the mobile phones. The kids are playing there. Husband is with the Facebook, WhatsApp, or whatever business is. Wife is there another way. 4 are in 4 corners. There is no mindful eating. There is what they don't know what they are eating. This culture has to be changed. This culture has to be changed from our household. We need to sit together. I don't say junk food is totally, we totally avoid or totally ban the junk food to the kids, because we all human beings, every day we used to have our own cuisine. Some days we may look for some Western cuisine, some junk food, burger, pizzas, or sandwiches. Everything won't be a junk. No, sandwiches can be a healthy food. The burger can be a healthy food. Pizzas can make a healthy food, because everything we cannot blindly label junk foods. This all we can make it junk or we can make it healthy. That is our options. And one other things, the importance of farming in the houses, the importance of cultivation or anything, the importance of making the microgreens, the importance of the millets, the importance of our tubers, our local, whatever eating habits has been changed. We have to go back out to our roots. Why it is, we always best is always our local taste, local this thing. We need to inculcate that into our next generation. That is a very important thing. That is very important in every institutions and everything. If it's possible, there has to be a wellness club. There has to be a wellness center to be opened by the students. There should be, the classes has to be there. The curriculum has to be adapted with that one. There should be the importance of the microgreens, the importance of millets. The millets has come back a long way. The chef fraternity of India has done a very fabulous job in that one. Millets has come back a fabulous way back. That has to be done. Like that, so many indigenous food has been taken away from our life, because we don't want that one. We have to be inconvenient because we're having money. If you call to a Swiggy, Zomato or anything, everything they will drop in your house. That has to be changed. We need to prepare in our house. Okay, I am also a chef, because customers have to come to me. Then only I also have a business. But as a chef, I have a more responsibility to the society, that because society is important, where we are getting paid. The society has to be survived, because we used to have a chef, Varkey, and I used to participate in gastronomy discussion in Trivandrum a couple of 1 year back. Nothing has happened after that. We told very clearly the importance of the gastronomic tourism has to be there. We told many points, because whatever we are discussing, even today, whatever we discuss after this 8 o'clock, I don't think so anything will happen after this. This will be going, and we will tomorrow also will say same thing, and we'll keep on discussing this matter from that discussion level, from the government level, from top level. We say we will make India best, we'll make India better, but the FSA and everything will say Eat India Right mission is started there. We all chefs are back of that one, Eat India Right mission, because how we can inculcate a culture to eat right, and how to when to eat right. All this thing has to be there. We as a chef, we having a social responsibility to bring up our indigenous cuisine, the importance of the nutrition, the importance of the greens, the importance of the millets, whatever it is, than all other these Western foods and everything. We need, because keeping that Western food in our this thing, because we need to cater everyone. But as a client, as a kids, as a parents, as a chef, I would suggest that we would start from our home. We would start from our education institutions. We need to remodify our curriculums. We need to sit and talk this topic, not only talking, the action has to be there. Thanks.
Great, Soju Philip. In fact, you have put the blame back again on the policymakers and whoever is responsible to implement this, because this doesn't go beyond the discussion level. In fact, I had a discussion with a gastroenterologist some time back, and what he was saying that at one point of time, cardiologists were in great demand, and so many people, doctors took to cardiology. Now they are actually quite jobless but gastroenterologists are in great demand, because we are eating junk food, and so many people end up with gastritis and other problems, and there is a huge rush in front of the gastro departments in various hospitals and even surgeries. So that is another thing. So what I would like to say is that we need to go beyond talk and discussion, and we need to go to action. And that's where Pallikudam is trying to make a meaningful intervention. We have already conceptualized a project called Taste India project, where we want healthy food to be made with locally available ingredients or food, locally available crops, whatever. And with the help of chefs like you, we can create a culture of making the right food at home and practicing it at school. So that's the idea behind this Taste India project, and we have actually conceptualized the project at a concept level, and we would like to take it forward. So I think that will be the right way to, beyond talk, that will be one of the ways by which we can take it forward. So I would like request Dr. Varkey Pandalukar, our director, the director of Rajagiri Media, and he's also professor of engineering at Rajagiri Engineering College, School of Engineering and Technology, to just elaborate on this project before we quickly go to our Dr. Srijit Sridhar.
Look, this is something which we could do together. It's not we just shall not continue to talk. We have to walk the talk. We have to walk the talk, And this was a point of discussion with many chefs in and around our place in Ernakulam, with Taj and with the CGH and with many other institutions, where we could really change the eating culture of the country. We are developing a school which is it's called online-based school, where we give a lot of homeworks for the children. So as a part of this particular school, which is done at home, and this is materialized as homeworks, together with that, we could teach the taste to the children. Good food, of course, children will love to eat junk food. That's very clear for us. We cannot hide it. We can hide it, but it's not. Their taste has to be created for them. It's naturally their taste buds are tuned to some other type of food. Maybe they learn from parents or from the school or many other places. But at the same time, the basic question is, can we create a taste for local, healthy, nutritious, and poor little food? That's important question. If it's really tasting to them, there's no need of compelling them. It should be motivation for the children to eat. I know my brothers' children, they eat all kind of vegetables. The reason is that their parents taught them from the early childhood to eat that. For example, drumstick, all these kind of things. There's little girls, but they eat everything. And they don't like chocolate, by the way. This can be introduced, and this taste could be transmitted, can be transferred to new generation. The taste for good, local, and humble food that we have to create. And in this purpose, the 5 chefs or executive chefs of big institutions could be of help. That's why, because they have trained, they are talented. Nutrition, the people who have learned nutrition can also be of help. Wellness can also help. Naturopathy can be also in help. So we are the group. It is we who have to change this eating culture of this country, and we can do it. And we can do it. We are doing it, as I told you, through a kind of training for entrepreneurial kind of learning through our program. So attached to this program, we could reach to all households of the country. And that's what we have experiment we are doing, and we are successful to a great extent. So therefore, this aspect of good food culture, developing a taste for humble, nutritious, local food. This is something with 5-star colors. So if the chefs, for example, if chefs show that this is the way to eat, people will believe. There are star chefs which is coming up in our TV. So similarly, they can come into our school also, online school also, so that the children, they guide the children to how to cook. For example, if they cook, the children, if they cook, they will eat. That's the simple rule. If they cook, they love to eat. That's the simple principle we are following. So we allow them to cook with taste, local, based on local material, nutritious food. So we have to identify what is local, what is available in different parts of the country for children. And we have to, I imagine a a good hotel chain, which is having everywhere in India, their branches, they could be ideal in this case because they know the local food culture also. So they could improve the taste. So create a taste for good food. That's the, by the way, that's the title of our program, create a taste for the right food, healthy food. So that's also the name of the project. We call it Taste India project. We have to create something tasty for India. The next generation children should learn. We can be agents of that change. And I invite all panelists, everybody, all good Indians, because we have to grow into a great nation. As invariably, we are having food right now. Earlier it was we are hungry for food, but we have food. But right now, the question is, can we create tasty food so that the children, the new generation will change their food habits? Changing the food habits, that's the question. And one of the approaches I have already told you, allow them to cook. Go to the kitchen. Children will be taken to kitchen and they will be cooking together with the parents under the guidance of the chefs. This is what I visualize in this program. So we continue to deliberate on this particular point, and I will come back to the chefs, veteran chefs here for this discussion. And we need people of goodwill because we Rajagiri media, we are hopeful that we could spread this kind of culture across India. So we together, we walk the talk, not just talk, we walk the talk also. Thank you so much. So I invite everybody. I imagine Sri Kumar will be also coordinating that. Together we could we continue discussion. The discussion is not ending here. Our discussion will continue through other means, social media, things like that, so that we could spread this message, not only message, but actually how the tasty food with available local nutritious food materials can be created. That should be taught, taking the children to the kitchen so that they cook like a chef and they eat like a chef, like a king, or as a prince or princesses, they eat. Even the poor families can do that because these food materials should be available. If they're not available, we could press the government to make it available. But to taste it, to make it tasteful for them, that is again an important task, which I heartily invite all the panelists to join hands together with Rajagiri Media. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Varghese Pandalukaran. We'll quickly go to Dr. Sijit Sridhar for his views on how having going back to basics, that is through naturopathy and green food, we can come back to lively, good health and longevity. So we'll quickly go to Sijit Sridhar, and then we'll go to Subradho Mandal, who's a food entrepreneur.
Namaste. I am Dr. Sijit Sridhar, Chief Medical Officer at Shakti, Clinic of Natural Medicine by CGH. I, being a naturopathy doctor, whenever I meet people, even not only in my clinic, but even in a family get-together, when I meet friends, the most common question which I usually heard by the people is, I have diabetes, I have hypertension, I have overweight, I have thyroid problems. What should I eat? This is the question. Mostly any naturopathy doctor or any dietitian might hear when they are in an interaction with people. And this question, with that question, they usually intend to get an answer or a quick fix for a dietary problem, their health problems. Even during the time of COVID, many people actually recently coming back to ask, we had a lot of things to boost our immunity. After that, we got gastric issues. They had ginger, garlic, and many such paste, even kandari, and that such spicy things, thinking that boost their immunity. Now they are facing some problems because of that. Because we always trying to quick fix our problem. Even when you go for a nutritional diagnosis or a nutritional consultation, we actually think that if you have osteoporosis or osteoarthritis, take calcium supplement. If you have like uric acid, then reduce protein. That is how we look into the problem, because we fail to understand the bigger concept, the umbrella, or approach the problem in a holistic basis. Being the time is very limited, I'll take this occasion to explain one concept, that how the diet we eat plays a major role in more than 10 to 12 diseases we face, which if we go to a hospital, we go to 10 or 12 different specialities, but everything connected to each other to a single point. I'll take example of metabolic acidosis. What does that mean is, when there is an imbalance in the diet, acid and alkaline in the diet, and if we tend to eat more of acidic food, we end up in a condition known as metabolic acidosis. What is an acidic food? Everything we blamed by the previous speakers came in the category of acidic food. And it is called as acidic food based on what remains in the food after digestion. And our body, which is coming with an amazing healing power, have many mechanisms to balance it. It is not that when you have acidic food, it immediately go to imbalances. No, don't happen like that. We have a mechanism that the oxygen and carbohydrate which produce in the blood and which we inhale, or the ammonia produced by the kidney, which act as a buffer. But if you start torturing the body, abuse the body beyond its capacity, what happens? This metabolic acidosis, or the increased acidity in the food, finally ultimately impact in our blood pH. Normally, the blood pH is 7.2 or 7.3, which is very close to water. And if any deviation, any drop in that blood pH, you know what is the first symptom? It is death. Body cannot afford any change in the blood pH, but we are not dying even though we trouble our body so much, because body loves us so much. You don't give up that easily. Body try to neutralize that problem by a lot of effort, which communicate back as a disease. What happens is, when we trouble the body with a lot of acidic food, the blood pH may drop, then the blood will go and ask our bone, see, we are going to die, can you help us? Yes, bone is always ready to help by providing bicarbonates, which is alkaline materials. These bicarbonates from the bone will go to the blood and maintain the pH, help to maintain the pH. But there is a problem where the bicarbonates cannot go alone. It go in the form of calcium bicarbonates. And thanks to the ads of health drinks, which says after 30, we lose our bone strength. It is not because after 30, it might be because of the metabolic acidosis. The calcium bicarbonates go to the blood. What happened to the bone? Bone loses the calcium. We end up in a condition of osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, weak bones. We don't know such things are happening in the body. We are continuing troubling the body. When you have a weak bone, we could take a calcium. We don't try to balance that with a healthy diet. But what happens is, this calcium bicarbonates is come to the blood. The bicarbonates will be used by the body. What happened to the calcium? Calcium cannot go back. Blood cannot carry it. It will go and deposit somewhere. Where it can deposit? It can deposit in a kidney and give you a renal stone. If you're lucky enough, you end up there. But if you're not that lucky, it end up in gallbladder and give you a gallbladder stone. Or it can deposit in your heart and give you a block. It can deposit in a blood vessel, leads to calcification of blood vessels. It can deposit in your brain and give you a stroke. We end up in meeting 5 to 6 specialists without knowing that these are connected to each other. But we still continue the training, troubling the body. One day, the bone will say, enough is enough, I cannot help you more. What bone will do? Blood will do. Blood will tend to help of kidney, which can produce ammonia. It normally produces, but when we are in a trouble to manage the metabolic acidosis, the kidney has to produce more ammonia. The kidney, each kidney can live for 100 years. So we can live for 200 years. But because of the overstrain, extra work, the kidney fails at age of 50. We end up in having chronic kidney disease. The kidney, which is already troubled by the renal stones, has to work more. Chronic kidney diseases, dialysis, kidney transplantation. Then what happens? So simultaneously, every organ is getting degenerated. The inflammation start getting up in the body. Inflammation end up in insulin resistance. Thanks again to the increased awareness, we know insulin is connected with the diabetes. But we don't know that it is because of inflammation. This insulin resistance is not really connected with diabetes. The first speaker spoke with PCOD. What is PCOD? PCOD is an insulin resistance affecting the ovary in young females. If you look to the medicine give for PCOD, it is same as metformin which give for diabetes. Because when insulin resistance affect our ovaries, it give PCOD. When it affects our cells, it give diabetes. And if it affects our brain, it give Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is now considered type 3 diabetes. It leads to hormonal imbalances and hypertension. What we do? We try to fix the problem. In naturopathy, we say, treat the root cause of the problem. What is the root cause here? The imbalanced lifestyle. But we never consider that. People used to come and tell to us that, doctor, I have a weak heart, but I am healthy. No, you cannot be with a weak heart and you cannot be healthy. This is basically a broken biochemistry of the cell. And the disease manifests in the weakest organ. Your body is diseased. But we fail to understand the umbrella concept, the holistic concept, how the diet plays an important role in getting us diseased. And I understood, from my understanding is, the purpose of this program is helping in policy makers how the diet or a nutrition help in reversing disease. That's very important, because I'll take another, I just explained how a diet forms disease, but what is the role of policy making in this? During COVID, during the lockdown, our government provided the people with a kit. When I visited one of the house after COVID, I saw a sunflower oil pack there, which they usually used coconut oil. But I just asked why this sunflower here. They said it was in the kit. The kit, the lockdown we undergone to prevent people affected from COVID. At that time, the government gave sunflower oil. What is COVID? We know that a person affected by COVID is not dying because of virus. It is because of the reaction of the body to virus, which is called as cytokine rush. Which is that? What is inflammation? And this sunflower oil, which is highly rich in omega-6 fatty acid, which is the basic nutrition, leads to inflammation in the body. See what we did? We asked people to sit in home to prevent COVID, but providing a sunflower oil and white sugar in the kit, we are providing a situation where the body becomes unhealthy. We are providing all the materials which can make inflammation faster in the body. The moment they affect with the COVID virus, the things can become complicated. The problem is not with government. Government don't know such things. Government knows just to provide food. It was the policy makers should intervene and say, no, we should not give something cause inflammation this time, because if we provide an inflammatory scenario, the chances of people getting complicated and die with COVID is high. So if our aim is to become a healthy India, as the moderator said, we are affected with communicable, non-communicable diseases. The data from ICMR say 13.7 crores of people, Indian population is affected with obesity, 7.3 with diabetes, 4.7 with thyroid disease, 8.2 with hypertension. Where it all started? The food we eat, the activity we do, the time we sleep. And we never try to change that. We always try to solve the problem with quick fixes, never going to help us. So I, being a naturopathy doctor, I being a lifestyle specialist, I appeal to everyone here, go to umbrella view. Don't try to fix problems by just by whitewashing the problem. When we try to whitewash a problem, something like if you whitewash a leak in a water tank, the problem is with structure, the pressure water in the tank, not by the leaky area. If you whitewash the area, the leak will start in another problem like a complication or a comorbidity. So we all should try to move up and solve the problem from the top. That's what my appeal, my request, being a naturopathy doctor. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Sijit Sridhar, for those remarks. Actually, now I need to go to Subrado Mandal, because now we have so many food processing companies. Food processing is a major sector identified by the government to promote agriculture and value addition, and so many things, I mean, for the development of the economy as such. And we have so many startups coming. And Subrodo Mandal has been associated with being an agriculture graduate and being a management graduate. You had been exposed to so many industries. And now we were talking about very lax kind of administrative and also regulatory structure in India. So what do you think can be done from the industry side? Like how best they can, actually, they are the people who manufacture these ingredients. They are the people who prepare all these mixes and whatever, I mean, cooking oils, everything. So that's a huge industry. And actually they have a big role to play. So what is your view on this, being associated with the industry for a long time?
Thank you, Sri Kawarji. I think everyone can hear me.
Yes.
Contrary to what I should talk about the industry, being a agriculture graduate and postgraduate in food technology and did my MBA from IRMA, I think let's focus on nutrition, which is your main topic, how we can overcome. So I will give some real life story of mine so that you will understand how I changed myself and how the normal public can also follow a general principle on the food and can take care of their health. Because I have benefited immensely, and last 4 years I have never been to any doctor. Earlier I used to be. After coming to Pune as my job in a company, I actually developed some symptoms, some allergy, which I could not able to detect initial level because your doctor used to give some normal medicine. I thought it's a normal and then it's recovered. But over a period of time, after 2 years of staying here, suddenly in the night, I felt a huge suffocation in the night and I could not able to even breathe. So immediately rushed to the hospital and I came from deathbed, and then doctor gives some medicine. It repeated again after 15 days. So then I consulted the allergic doctor because the doctor told me it's purely on allergy and you should consult a good allergic doctor and then recover yourself. And then I consulted the best allergic doctor in Pune, and then under his medication almost 1.5 years. But every two months or 1 month, I used to go to the doctor. I used to ask him, Doctor Sahab, when my medicine will stop? But he always share me that wait, another 3 months, another 3 months. So this way the time was passing almost to 1.5 years. And I understood that the doctor cannot heal me. That I understood very well. Because taking time and no improvement at all. And then what I understood that you have to research on your own to get back the health. And then I vigorously researched almost 3 months, almost 8 to 10 hours a day in the internet to find out how you can cure naturally the allergic asthma. And luckily I found many knowledge during those 3 months period, which I applied in my life, and I cured myself within 3 months time fully. And I can able to run also now. The breathe is so difficult. I have experienced that once you don't have a breathe, you know how difficult it is. That it's like you are dying, and it's a very painful process. So what I found out with my research is that the more processed food you will take, the more difficult on your body. So if you should actually take the natural foods, means fresh at its farm. So purely you should take the fresh fruits and vegetable maximum in your diet to cure any disease. You don't have to do anything else. So basically what my suggestion is, if you stop cooking in your house, your entire family will be healthy for sure. That I can give you a guarantee. You stop your cooking in your house. You see and eat only fresh fruits and fresh vegetable as a salad, and see that your entire family will be fully healthy. You don't have to go to even a single doctor. But that is not possible in today's world because the entire world has changed. So what you can do basically that you increase the uptake of fresh fruits and vegetable to such extent that your other intake of the cooked foods come down drastically, and that way you can become much more healthy. Now, to give example, what we do actually at our house, all the 3 members, we take almost 1 kg of fruits daily and we don't take any tea or beverage, anything in the morning. After our breakfast is nothing but 1 kg of fruits, and at the before meal we take a lot of vegetable, and then we take our meal as a Bengali rice and other thing. That way we reduce down our food drastically. Second thing is that your timing. Many others has also pointed out that when you should take your food. So basically, after sunset, you should not take your food. But in modern life, it is very difficult because body is actually accustomed to digest the food before sunset. And you can practice on your own and see. You take your food before sunset and see how benefit you will get, and you will be disease free. But that is not possible in today's world. So still, you can take the food maybe before 8 o'clock. That will be better. At least at say 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and that will be better for anyone. And stops taking the processed food as much as possible. Packaged food, what I understand is packaged food. Anything in packing you should avoid because all processed food actually takes dioxin, which is cancerous, and your health, which actually creates inflammation in your body and which is detrimental for your body. So that if you avoid, automatically you will get rid of your major problem. Besides, there are healthy practices which anyone should practice. You should practice your natural yoga or your exercise. This also helps you to take care of your body. This is on my take on the nutrition. It's very on a layman language because I have immensely benefited and my family is fully actually disease free, and we don't have to go to the doctor. Even last 4 years I have never been to doctor. So that's the advantage of fresh fruits and vegetables. And on that balance, I also started, though I am a food technologist, I started working on fresh fruits and fresh vegetable domain of my business as a startup. And we do the exports of fresh fruits and vegetable, and also we import fresh fruits and vegetable and sell it in India. We are also into domestic distribution of fresh fruits and vegetable. My future outlook is to actually work on the residue-free or pesticides-free fruits and vegetable to reach to the individual house directly as a retailing mode. So that's where I'm working on currently. And thank you all.
So great, Subrata. Actually, you have lived the example. Actually, you have shown through your example that we can have healthy eating habits and then prevent all these major diseases that we afflict us and make us a slave of these medicines. So it is indeed, from the industry side also, you pointed out that more kind of technology can be used to make it fresh and maybe keep it longer. I mean, maybe one of the reasons why this food has to be added with something is to keep make the shelf life longer. So that may be one of the reasons why the industry is forced to adopt certain practices. So we'll quickly, yeah.
Yeah, I think more the industry should work on the fruits and vegetable we are growing should be pesticides free. That will take care your body much better because ultimately all product goes into processing. So if it goes into processing, your level of or concentration of bad product into the processing goes much higher level. So if your fresh fruits and vegetables are already without any pesticides, automatically your processed food will be also much better as a healthier.
Okay. So we'll quickly go to Rekha Ravindran. She's actually a very good background in home baking. So baking products are also one of the bakery products are also one of the reasons why people suffer from a lot of gastro problems and lifestyle diseases. So she will help us give us a view from parents' view about how best we can make tasty food and which is palatable for the children also.
Yeah, good evening, sir. And thank you, organizers, to give an opportunity to be the part of this segment. Okay, as a baker and as a parent, as Vagisa told before, food preferences are developed early in life. Yeah. So offer variety of food for your kids. And we should think how can we make healthy food at the same time. Make a wide variety of healthful foods available in the house. Actually, all people will, I think they don't like what this pizza, then burger, noodles, but we can make more healthier options. For pizza, we can, pizza and noodles, once in a while, it's not a bad thing. Make this noodles with lots of veggies and meat itself. So it will be, healthy also. And pizza you can make with wheat instead of maida. And for baking itself, so many parents asking me for cakes and cookies with maida. But now itself, now these days, they change their views. They need millet cookies, ragi cookies, and I'm making sattuma, sattuma, healthy mix. So nowadays I am making healthy mix cake also with carrot and dates like that. So we can make baking products also, means with cake and cookies like that. We can make healthier options also. So as a parent, we should decide which food to buy and when to serve them. They will eat what's available in the cupboard at home. So you should make healthy snacks yourself. If the favorite snacks, all that nutritious, you can still buy it once in a while so they don't feel deprived from the foods you offer. Kids get to choose what they will eat or whether to eat at all. Offer variety food, like and dislikes begin forming even when kids are babies. Don't force a child to eat, but offer a few bites. Rewrite the kids' menu so they will be also happy. And one more thing, don't show your love with food. When foods are used to reward kids and show affection, they may start using food to cope by stress or other emotions. Offer hugs, praise, and attention instead of food. Please choose nutritious snacks like old age. Old age people, we make this ellunda, then what you call kapalandi mitai. It's a very nutritious things. But nowadays we give biscuits and other items, all this. But in Coimbatore, I feel people are more choosy nowadays. Means they don't like maida things. So moreover, I think for the last 1 or 2 years, I can feel that changes. Nowadays, there are options for healthy options. They need like ragi cookies, like that. So that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Rekha Ravindran, for those insightful, actually from a parent's perspective and also from a baker's perspective, how
Yeah.
healthy food can be promoted. So we are coming to the end of this session, and we'll actually quickly go back to all the panelists. After hearing all the problems and issues that we are facing in the food sector with respect to the way that we eat food, the way food is processed, the way it is cultivated, and so a lot of issues are, even regulatory problems are there. The laws are not very strict enough, as pointed out by Ubay Seli and others from the industry. So we'll quickly go to Dr. Jayadeep. After hearing all this, I mean, is it that the research that you are doing at CFTRI and other places, it's not sufficiently being communicated to the public, so that I mean, some kind of awareness. So even little acts can add to. Even somebody who has watched this program for last 2 hours, they might have got a lot of idea about how we can do it in the home itself. So likewise, CFTRI is a big institution and with a lot of experience. So how best you can take this momentum forward?
Yeah, so like the panelists have told and opined their this based on their experience and expertise. Number of good points are there, and of course, certain things which we have to debate over also is there. So one thing is, yes, like people have mentioned that, so we need to use the diversity of foods, whether it is grains or fruits or vegetables. So India is a producer of diverse foods, and we need to incorporate diversity in our food menu. And with respect to the value addition, so as a part of the convenience, definitely convenience is one of the important things. So along with the convenience, first point is the taste. Yes, so people have suggested that we need to have more of millet-based products. Yes, of course, the research is going on in CFTR also. So with respect to development of value-added products, so like initially I told, so instead of transforming our food from the currently consumed traditional products, so how we can improve the quality. So like regularly morning we are eating idli, dosa, puttu and other things. So, for example, we are consuming the puttu from the refined rice flour. So, why don't we transform into the red rice flour based or partially polished rice based? It's like that we can improve our existing food with much more nutritious and healthier by applying the technology. In that respect, of course, CFTR is working with respect to many of the food products, how we can retain the beneficial components and nutrition without compromising on the taste. So yes, taste is an important thing. It's a convenience, the nutrition and health components, and shelf stability. So looking into all this aspect, we have to apply processing technique to provide healthy and nutritious food to our society.
But is the research being commercialized? There is always an allegation that the research happening in our centers of excellence and even universities, they actually don't get commercialized. So maybe patenting is all done and then the scientists get the credit, but ultimately it has to reach the from foot to fork. It has to happen.
Yeah. Okay, so for CFTRI, we do have around 400 technologies are available in our website. And in the case of food processing, we have been involving with mainly government agencies, whether it is the Karnataka government or the Maharashtra government, or Odisha government, and to a little bit with the Kerala government. So whenever they approach for the solutions with respect to value addition to food products and providing solutions for the nutritious food products we are providing to government. Industries are also just open. So we do have a technology transfer department is there, and our technologies are available in the website. Additionally, the industries also can approach for developing the sponsored project in collaboration mode. A number of interactions are happening with respect to food processing in CFTRI. So of course, in the case of universities, they need to improve with respect to aspect of transferring that knowledge to the society.
So thank you, Dr. Jayadeep. We'll quickly go to Ubay Ali to give an industry perspective, like whether industries should become self-regulating or whether that is possible, because now the laws are not up to date or updated according to the needs of this.
Yes, yes, of course, there is a limitation for any regulating body to control everything. Finally, it is the person itself or the industry itself has to control or to, because that's a part of actually right and wrong. Suppose you are making something, and if it is not consumable for your children and for your family, you should not do that. That's a part of your ethics. It's a part of your value. That's a part of your value building. If you are not making something which cannot be consumed by your children, don't make it and don't give it to your society also. So that is very important. Yes, there is a limitation to any regulating body, any government body, any other bodies for that matter. There is a limitation anyways. So it's very important that you self-regulate, and that can be based only on the values.
Okay, so that's a good message that you are giving to your peers in this industry, whether it is agro processing or edible oils. So we'll quickly go to Manju Sharath. After hearing all these problems, like we are surrounded with problems, whether it is food. So it is up to us from parents' side, teacher side, and also from the children's side to choose the best ones. So how best that we can give this message of choosing the best?
I think right now the new trend is weight loss and fat loss kind of a thing. I think the best thing we can do it is balanced diet. Whatever, there is no diet separate for the kids should eat like this and the adults should eat like this. I think the balanced diet will help us, as Jayadeep sir was telling, the millet is a good option. I started using continuously, consistently in my house personally, and personally I am using it. I'm using terminal with millets. There are varieties with that. There is no, you don't have to worry it as a Malayali, as a Kerala. I'm also telling, I'm making idli, dosa, puddu, all these things with this millet. As Rega ma'am was telling, she started making in Bangalore. We have a lot of homemakers who makes millet cakes. We can give the choice. It's once in a while absolutely fine to eat processed food. Our problem is, not eating nutritious food. Problem is not only, not because of the processed food. We are not eating the nutritious food in daily basis. I think we should not differentiate with kids and adults. Adults should eat like this, kids should eat like this. In my house, I also have 2 kids. We have 4 people out there. We don't have different food items. As many of them was telling, we can eat as much as varieties of fruits and vegetables also. It should be the snacks item rather than giving them egg chips, or rather than giving them different kind of things. Once in a while, absolutely. We also eat, absolutely, we include all the grains, not only millets, we eat all the white rice, all the things. But mostly, if you are eating nutrition food, you can eat the junk food. Otherwise, please try to avoid it and drink water and sleep well. This is what I want to tell everyone. Thank you.
So I'll quickly go to Soju Philip because now it is clear that it is not the food that we consume, but what goes into it, whether it is burger or pizza or whatever. You can make it healthy also. So what is your take on this? How best we can, with the existing food, we can make it palatable? Soju Philip?
Can you hear?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. In the industry for past 25 years, I had seen lots of food. I had seen lots of cuisines hereby. We see the changes happening in our palates. We see changes happening in our trends. The trendsetters are there. But the only thing, what we can do as chefs, we can inculcate a culture that keeping on the mind that our customers or our generation need new varieties of food, new dishes, new array of foods. We need to inculcate how healthy we can go for it. We can add, as usual, say, we can avoid certain things. We can reduce the amount of the white refined flours. We can add the enriched, the vitamin added flours with the pulses and everything. We can add more nutritious aspects into that one. We can add more of greens and microgreens into your plates. The USDA has also come up with the concept that my plate is half of this is vegetable and fruits. And so when we planning a meal itself, the plate itself, when we maybe having a small portions of meat, should have some grains, some vegetables and some fruits. The plate has to be more healthy, more colorful and more palatable. So we will, as a chef, I would like to request everyone in the industry, everyone in the household, that one how we can plan our meals. Not only like, everyone say that paratha is very dangerous. Kerala paratha, people can't live without paratha. But we can make paratha with wheat flours. We can make paratha with different flours. We can make dosa with different things. We can make the dosa with the green gram, very helpful. Like in Andhra, they used to make pesarattu. Many other things we can. There is lots of options are there for healthy food today. Only thing, this will take more time. This will take more energy from you. So people don't want to go. It is very difficult to change a culture because we cannot go back to the roots as it was early. It's very difficult because the scenario was totally changed. So we need to adjust with the current situation. We need to add up our plates with the more colorful greens and fruits and grains. Also, we need to have a proportion of the proteins and the dairy products itself. So we need to conclude with that one. We need to add more of the to reduce the more white refined oils, flours, trans fats, everything. We need to add more more healthy oils like olive oil, virgin coconut oils, and everything to our diets. We need to add more flours, the millet flours, ragi flours, whatever it is. The chia seeds are very healthy. So whatever we are available in our markets, we need to find out the usability of that one, and we need to tailor our menus, the recipes to such a way it will be very healthy as well as it will be tasty. We need to add the spices. We have lots of spices we can add it to that one. They're all having healthy aspects. So they have to combine everything together. We need to go forward with a healthy diet, and this diet will bring our children, bring our next generation to a healthy India and a safe India.
So thank you, Soju, Philip. Any more comments on this? Because we have already run out of time and we'll have to conclude. Any other, Zareena?
Mrs. Kumar, can I
Yes.
add something?
Yes.
Like I was just thinking, nowadays, adulterated food, this is what we have in the market. How much ever we try to avoid eating the junk food and all that, because of the food and in everything there's adulteration. So I personally feel, that we should go in for organic farming, and we should have a kitchen garden of our own, a small green garden of our own. This is how, we should try to cultivate a few little things at home which we can. Even the milk you see, the eggs nowadays, everything is being adulterated. So wherever possible, we can avoid that and go in for organic farming. We have the pots and all that, we can do it very well at home. And in the market, we've got very high yielding fertilizers, because of the size of a particular fruit is so big that it doesn't look organic at all. So these are little things. I think we all must go in for organic farming if we have, and try to avoid as much as possible the adulterated or the processed food which we have for the market. This is what I wanted to add.
So, Chef Varkey, would you like to add to this?
Well, what I would just go ahead with go with what Dr. Sujit was saying. If people are aware that with simple food you can do wonders, and how it works, if that can be part of the education system, starting from kindergarten, I think the transformation, irreversible transformation, will take place. See, we all know that we have to eat fresh foods, seasonal food, whole food, and use. There is an n number of ideas in the market, but what people are not aware of it. I mean, CMI congregation, and definitely start a process whereby at kindergarten level this thing starts. At least for the next generation, it works very well. But to change me at the age of, let's say, 60, it was difficult. But I had to. I changed because there was a conviction from my management that if you go this way, you will develop a company called Gourmet Healthy Responsible Food. That mantra from Mr. Jose Dominic, who is the founder of our company, that mantra somehow inculcated into me so well, so I could change. But I find it so difficult for my family to change. The reason is that much conviction is not there. So I think I like what Dr. Sujita said. If you know the implication that a heart problem can be solved with simple alkaline food, instead of spending 4 lakhs or 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs for the operation, you can solve it with a simple food. People will all go for it. Market is not aware of it. The people are not aware of it. That's why I said naturopathy hospitals should flourish more than the allopathy doctors. Allopathy doctors do not know how to treat with food. Allopathy doctors know only pills, whereas naturopathy doctors know how to treat with food. What is required is good food. Like what Mr. Mandel was saying, he was cured with fresh vegetables and fruit. That's what exactly that I want to say. The place now I am recently located, or rather working deeply, is a raw food place. We give them fresh fruits and vegetables, and in 7 days, 7 to 10 days time, almost every disease that they come for with there is a reduction, and weight comes down by at least 10 kilos. Where else can you find it? All that we give is fresh, seasonal, whole, colorful, lively food. So my humble request is, all these talks are very good, but let us focus on what Mahatma Gandhi did way back in Pune to establish the naturopathy hospital. And I think CMI fathers, instead of building Rajagiri hospitals, we should build more of naturopathy hospitals or naturopathy colleges. That's all I have to say.
Okay. So thank you, Chef Jose Varkey, for those final remarks. Actually, this was a very insightful discussion. We hope that we could have gone on for some more time. But more important is, rather than discussing and identifying the problems, we need to get ahead with the solutions. So we already have come on track. We have, as our director said, we have come up with a Taste India project where we want to involve all the stakeholders in the food industry, including chefs, maybe CFTRA, all these organizations, whoever can become part of this to take the culture of healthy eating and quality food through and going back to our roots. So that is possible, and so many good indications have been seen from various parts. So it is already discussed here also. So everything is not very bleak or in such a bad shape. We still can make the right interventions, provided we have that initiative and the courage to take it forward. So it was a very interesting discussion, and I thank you all